this particular game object for all of your variables. So it's really handy. See if right now there's no variable set up. If we hit plus, we can actually add one, and if we hit plus, we can add another one, and plus, and it just keeps allowing us to add these local variables to this particular object. So let's name our variable, and we're going to name it score, and just go ahead and hit the plus. And you'll see we have a variable, but it says the type of it is null and void, nothing at the moment. So the type of it needs to be a number variable, because that's the one we were trying to set up. We're just wanting this to track a number. If you were actually scripting, the variable would either be called a float or an integer. A float being like a decimal number, 1.1, 1.5, something like that. The integer would be more like a flat number. But this is, for Game Creator, the variable number is just representing, I believe it's representing both. I think you can put integers in that. But today we're just going to use, you can use floats in that with decimals, but today we're just going to use a flat number of 50. So just go ahead and click, type in 50 there. You don't have to hit enter or anything. It's already taken it. There is a checkbox over here, and that's for if you would like to have this save the information or not when you turn off the game. And we're going to leave that unchecked. Actually, the score, we don't want it to be 50 at first. Let's put that score back to 0, because at the beginning of the game, we have 0 points. There's no score. Okay, so we have our variable actually set up. So leave that at 0, and in our actions, go back to our actions here under the trigger. We're going to is looking for a local variable. So let's go ahead and drag our local variable object on there and just see what it does here. Now we have a drop-down menu. Oh, it's found our variable, which is score. Now, if we had more variables added to that local variables list in there, where you see we were pressing the plus button, there would be more ones to choose from, but we've just added just one, and it's called score, and here it is. So we're changing our 0 score, you remember, to from 0, and we're going to make that 50. So now that we have go ahead and put 50 in there. Now we're going to test this out, and just to see if it's changed our score based on this trigger intercepting with colliding with this blue base cube box collider. Okay. To test this out properly, we need to, while we're in our scene and we hit play here, so make sure you've hit play, and just click on the local variables, and we'll notice runtime value, runtime being when the game is playing, that right now we have a 0 value of our score. And that's fine. And that's what's expected. So we're just going to run over top of it, and we'll see now that the runtime value is 50. And that's exactly what we wanted to happen. There is a slight problem, and it's slightly, something we didn't consider here yet. But I'll show you how to fix it, and I'll show you the problem. When you walk over the base again and again and again and again, you'll notice that our runtime value is still 50. And that's because it continues to keep putting 50 over top of 50 over top of 50 and doing the same action over and over again. And that's definitely not what we want, because we don't want to fill our scene with game objects, even though there's not much contained in those objects. Eventually, it can create a serious problem and slow down our game. So we'll go ahead and hit stop, and we'll go ahead and fix that real quick. So with our action, click on the action underneath the trigger, and then destroy. We're going to use destroy after finishing. Go ahead and check that box. Now we'll just hit play. Now once again, when we run over our base, well, actually, let me hit play again, because I didn't click the local variables. So hit play, click the local variables. We can see our number is 0 currently, and then 50. And you'll notice now that it's not adding multiple clones of objects to our scene over there, because it's now destroying the action. So it's actually applying the 50 just one time, and you can run over it as many times as you want to, and it's not trying to add 50 to our score variable every single time. And you'll notice when I move this, or if I keep this still, it will do a auto rotate towards our player, and I'm going to turn that off really quickly because I don't like that. So just click the camera motor, auto response behind. You can uncheck that, and now when we go idle, it doesn't rotate the camera automatically. So we have our local variable set up, and we can create a HUD very quickly by right click, going to game creator, and going to UI, and then we can click and add a text, and you'll notice it says variable, and it also says localized. And for now, we're just going to use the variable and the text, and we can actually change this name to score. I'll do score underscore text, so you can just know that it is originally a text. And we have this on our canvas. In our canvas, if you click on the canvas and you hit F, you'll see that there is like this big screen that goes over top of our camera, basically, so we can see like a HUD of what's going on in our game, and we can add their UI elements so we can see what's going on. So the render is currently in world space, and when we add our score to it, it's going to be kind of distorted for what we're doing at the moment. So we want a screen space overlay. I'm not going to worry about pixel perfect or anything like that yet at the moment. You can have a sorting layer for your objects, so keep that in mind. And I think everything else is good for now. So we have a score. Let's click on our score text, and you'll see the format is a variable, and it's with the colons here, and it's saying 0. So whatever the number is for our variable, it's going to display the 0, or it's going to display it in this format, and the number will replace the 0 whenever it's changed. So we can increase our size. You see the font size over here, and we can kind of increase that. We can make that 20 and see how that looks. And you can also change the font and the word wrap and different things like that. And then we can click our variable here, and the global variable, we're not using that at the moment. But we'll click our local variable, and now it's looking for a game object again. So we know where that is. And we click the local variables and drag that in. And then it's showing us our score that we made before, our variable score, number variable. we don't have to add any text in here because it already has the format and it's already going to display whatever score or whatever the variable is at the moment. So let's hit play real quick and you can see sort of where it's at. You can rotate around. You see this variable and it's 0 because that's the current state of our variable and that's the current state of our score. But we sort of don't want it to say variable and we don't want it to be placed right there. Very annoying right there in our what was on the robot's butt right there. So we don't want it right in the middle. So if we, that was awkward. If we scroll these the position here for our for the object, and if you click put your mouse over the POS X for the position of the X-axis, and we start reducing this number down by just moving and clicking. It's actually a left click, and you just start dragging to the left, and you'll notice the numbers are changing. You can make this pretty much a minus 400. Something like this, or you could put in this exact number and that's what you would get. And then for the Y, we can make this like minus as well, and we can just kind of set the score down here. Now you don't want while we're in play mode, all these changes will not save. So what we'll have to do is click our little dots again here. And we'll just copy this component. And then when we hit turn off the game for a second, and we hit those dots again, we can actually paste that component values back in there. And then when we hit play, you'll see it that it's correct again. But for this variable, we can actually change this name here to just the variable name, not the all of it. Score. And you can actually reset this if you need to by clicking the dots if you needed to reset this, but we're just going to call it score, and then we'll hit play again. And now when you're playing your game and you do a thing and it gives you a score as soon as you go over the base. So very quickly, I'll just show you if you go back into your actions, we did a assign number to score, assigns a number to that variable, and we could actually remove that action, and we could click variables again, and we could do a variable add, and we click our local variable again, and we could just drag this local variables in there again and click on our score, and this time we're going to be adding a number to the variable. It's default at 0 right now, but we can add 50. So we can pretty much control this by, say, if you want a certain max number, you would say you could do a condition on your trigger and say if it's 500, that's the max that you want it to add, then don't add any more, or, destroy an action or something like that. That pretty much sets a limitation on how much you want to add. But for now, we're just going to add 50 to it, and we're going to uncheck this box that says destroy after finishing. We'll hit play. So now when we run over our base, it will continue to add a score. And as I said, it's going to be unlimited, so you can do some other things to kind of set a max value to your variable and set a max value to your score for this as well. So that's going to be all for the tutorial for now, and if you did like this series, please leave a like or a comment, and just let me know if you're making a game, if you're a solo developer, or if you're working with a team, and what kind of game are you making? What kind of type of games would you like to see us create? Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day or night, wherever you may be.